Real Virginia is proudly produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation. Since 1926, Farm Bureau has been working to preserve Virginia farms and our rural heritage. Visit our website at vafb.com.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Hello everyone and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce all of the wonderful products we enjoy, brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau.
The recent hurricane only highlights how much Virginia farmers have to worry about the weather. There are still plenty of fresh Virginia vegetables to use in Chef Maxwell's latest recipe, and a Virginia corn grower is showing the rest of the world how to grow the most corn right on TV.
Welcome back everyone. We're coming to you from Wrenwood Farms in Charles City County, where the owner and farmer is also a reality TV star. We'll talk about that story a little later on in the show. But first, a farmer's success always depends on the weather. When Hurricane Florence loomed on the horizon last month, farmers were very busy trying to prevent crop and livestock losses.
Farmers like Peter Sweeney worked nonstop preparing for the expected landfall of Hurricane Florence. A week before it hit, the projected storm track would have taken it through the heart of Virginia. That meant it was time to harvest hay fields quickly and move cows to higher ground.
We've got 4 generators on standby. We've got a large tractor with a grapple. So a lot of it is really just cleaning up debris to get back to the pastures and to the cows to check them.
Hurricanes aren't the only threat farmers face. This past June, Burning Daylight Farms experienced 2 back-to-back floods in less than 2 weeks. Water rushing into the Rivanna River caused it to rise more than 12 feet. Debris hung in trees, and Sweeney was unable to reach his livestock.
The only way to get to some of our pasture is right beside the riverbank where the roads are. So we were cut off twice from getting to check the cows.
Uncertainty in Hurricane Florence's track and forecast ranging from 8 inches to 18 inches of rain meant Virginia farmers were preparing for a worst-case scenario across the Commonwealth.
A lot of things getting batted down around the farms, whether it was augers that were being lowered, they were looking around for any roofs that might need tending to that they hadn't. Just trying to get squared up around the farmstead, and then certainly last week the big push was harvest, to get as much corn in the bin or vegetables in the bin or sod cut that they could ahead of the storm.
That meant long days in the harvester ahead of the storm and longer days ahead if floodwaters damaged fields. The storm turned away from Virginia and devastated the Carolinas, but remnants returned days later, sparking heavy rain and tornadoes in central Virginia and heavy rain elsewhere in the state. Tornadoes that touched down near Richmond killed 1 man in Chesterfield County, and flooding killed another man in Louisa County. Rain continued to cause roadways to be flooded, and land access was cut off to some farmland.
I think the biggest concern now is we have calving going on, and I think maybe the oldest calves here are 2 to 3 weeks. And so sometimes, you know, they'll separate from their mom, and if the power is down on the fences, they'll go beyond the fence because the vegetation is taller, and they'll stay there, and sometimes it's next to impossible to find them.
Early indications show that Virginia dodged a bullet from the storm's havoc, proving that early storm reporting and hard work by diligent farmers protected most from great loss.
They've got that even keel approach, and they took it as that. That's what I saw last week. We're going to deal with what the good Lord gives us. We're going to prepare however we can today, but we're going to deal with whatever we get. And I think it's a lot of relief among our growers here in Virginia that we didn't get the brunt of it, and a lot of compassion for the growers south of here that have suffered a lot of property damage and a lot of agricultural damage.
As of the middle of September, farm losses from Hurricane Florence in Virginia were still being calculated. Farmers lost much more in North and South Carolina, where the storm brought damaging winds and devastating flooding.
Virginia farmers are no strangers to hurricanes. Severe weather hit the English colonists in 1667 when it said the water in the Chesapeake Bay rose 12 feet. Over the past 15 years, 8 hurricanes or tropical depressions have hit the Old Dominion. The largest was Hurricane Isabel in 2003, which caused an estimated $1.9 billion in damage to farms, homes, businesses, and utilities. Ironically, farmers along Virginia's coast and elsewhere have come to depend on tropical depressions to bring much-needed rainfall to their crops at the end of summer. But it's a double-edged sword. Those same rains can also cause tremendous crop losses.
I'm Mark Viette. Coming up on In the Garden, we're going to talk about weeds that you don't want in your garden. Stay with us.
Farm Bureau is the insurance provider of choice for farmers. But did you know all Virginians can benefit? In fact, most of our members are not farmers. Members may take advantage of discounts on selected autos, trucks, mowers, and tractors on top of the many insurance offerings. Your $40 membership will easily pay for itself with their many savings options as well. Farm Bureau is made for Virginians. To learn more about the membership advantage, go to vafb.com or visit your local Farm Bureau.
Gardens are a beautiful addition to any home, but invasive grasses can quickly overtake them. Mark Viette has some helpful suggestions today on how to control those weeds in the garden.
I personally don't mind weeding in a garden, but there are some weeds I really don't like. One of them is the yellow nutsedge, and the other one is Bermuda grass. This is the yellow nutsedge, has a triangular stem. You know why I remember this one? When I would go to visit my grandfather at his home and tropical garden in St. Thomas, he would have me weed his gardens and get rid of the nutsedge or yellow nutsedge. And the way we did it is we would dig it and shake the roots out of the soil, because there's a problem if you try to pull it. I've got this plant right here in front of me. If you were to come in and pull it, wow, you think, I got that weed out. But really, you did not get the weed out. Because what you find is, if you dig down, you have left all these little shoots, just this little piece, and this little piece right here will create new weeds. So if you pull one, you're left with 5. You do it again, then you have 5 more. So you're really multiplying the yellow nutsedge in the garden. So I guess you could pull it. You can get your suntan and you can get your exercise. But there are other ways of getting rid of nutsedge. Nutsedge really likes wet and moist soil conditions. So if you have a very wet season, you're going to have a lot more nutsedge in the garden. And you can see the nutsedge here right in the lawn with the bright yellow leaves. Some people grow Bermuda grass as a lawn, especially in the warmer climates. But what happens in many of our gardens is it's interspaced throughout our lawn, and if we don't edge our lawn properly, it actually encroaches and gets in our flower gardens. That makes it hard to get rid of. And here we have Bermuda grass right in front of me that has grown from our mixed lawn and is covering up the vinca, the dahlias, and the hibiscus. Just to show you, Bermuda grass produces long runners. It's got a big appetite to grow. And at all of those joints where leaves form, it's called the node, there's little roots. So if you only pull part of this, the rest of it will grow. And it also, like the yellow nutsedge, sends out little runners a little deeper into the soil. So what do? Well, you can go out in the garden and you can just constantly pull it. Or for the Bermuda grass, you can use a product by Bayer Advanced known as Bermuda Grass Control for lawns. Always read the label, because a lot of these products are just for lawns and you can't really use them around your garden plants. The other thing that you could do is for the sedge, Bonide makes a product known as Sedge Ender. And you can spray your yellow nut sedge according to the label directions, and it should control it over time. A lot of these weeds are best controlled when they're younger and they're only about 6 inches in height, but as they get more established, they're much more resistant, and you're probably going to have to go out in the garden and get your workout. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.
There is still plenty of fresh Virginia vegetables for Chef John Maxwell to play with this time of year. This week, he prepares a delicious gazpacho in the heart of the home.
The State Fair of Virginia is known for its family-friendly atmosphere, exciting attractions, and, of course, fabulous fair food. The most important focus continues to be youth and adult livestock competitions, and dozens of competitions where other Virginians can win a coveted State Fair blue ribbon. Everything from prize vegetables to baked goods to crafts and photography are featured each year as the best of the best. The 2018 State Fair of Virginia runs September 28th to October 7th at Meadow Event Park in Caroline County. Visit statefairva.org to learn more.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us. All of us. You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our determination, our compassion. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Whether served as an appetizer or a main course, gazpacho is a great way to use up all of your fresh vegetables from the garden. And of course, Chef John Maxwell has his own recipe in the heart of the home.
Hi, welcome to Heart of the Home. I'm Chef John Maxwell, and we're here at Meadow Hall in Meadow Event Park on Doswell, Virginia. Today we're going to be playing with a cold soup that comes to us from Spain. Long history there. It's called gazpacho, and the recipe I'm going to be playing with is from Jose Andres, who is a Basque chef who's very famous and has done a great job with things like this. So gazpacho is a tomato soup. Right? So I'm going to start by preparing my tomatoes. I'm going to cut the core out, and I'm going to make an X across the back. I'm dropping it into boiling water for exactly 1 minute. So you all counting out there? I'm at 6. All right. I'm going to take it out and drop it into ice cold water. And now I can just take my knife and the skin just peels right off. And now I'm going to cut the tomato in half across the middle. And we can see that all the seeds are available there, so I'm just going to squeeze these out. Real easy. And I'm going to chop these up just like I would any other vegetable. All right, I have some already chopped. So we're ready to build this soup. Get a bowl here. I'm going to put some of these tomatoes in the bowl. And I'm going to add some minced onion. And some chopped green pepper. And some cucumber, diced up nice. Some salt and pepper. Now I'm going to add a little bit of stock. This is vegetable stock. Get that stirred up good. Now I'm going to hit it with some good Spanish vinegar, sherry wine vinegar. and some nice extra virgin olive oil. Mix that up again. And I'm going to put this into a bowl. Okay. Now I'm going to use a little garlic. I'm using whole garlic that I've roasted. Some pine nuts that I've toasted. Some green onions. And I'm going to add a little bit more of the cucumber. Green pepper so it sits on the top so we can see that really good. Right. And we've got a classic gazpacho andaluz. Before we're finished, we've got to make another version of this. All right. I'm going to set this out front so that everybody can see it good. All right. And I'm going to take that same soup and I'm going to run it through the food processor. All right. And I'm going to wind up with this, which is the same soup, a little thicker. All right. I'm going to garnish it the same way. All right. A little bit of green onion, tops and base, some pine nuts, some green pepper, and a little bit of the roasted garlic. Now on top of both of these, I'm going to add some croutons, because the word gazpacho actually means crust of bread. So gazpacho really should have some kind of bread as part of it. The dish started out in Greece, right, as a bread soup and traveled with conquest across the Mediterranean to Spain and waited for Christopher Columbus to get the tomatoes. So there it is, two different versions of the same soup, Gazpacho andaluz. See you next time. So join us next week on Heart of the Home, where we get to play with great Virginia food.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com, as well as on Chef Maxwell's website at chefjohnmaxwell.com. Vegetables are raised on more than 1,600 farms in the Old Dominion, covering 22,454 acres. There are relatively few large vegetable farms. 1,269 vegetable operations are from 1 to 5 acres in size, while there are only 3 farms that are 1,000 acres or more. Virginia vegetable growers raise everything from asparagus to zucchini. Most producers raise a range of vegetables instead of a single crop, and virtually all the produce is sold fresh to consumers or to a supermarket chain. The most popular vegetable produced in Virginia is the tomato, while there's only one farm that produces horseradish.
We have 37 parks across the Commonwealth. Every year, 10 million visitors enjoy 600 miles of trails from beaches to mountains, hundreds of cabins and campsites, even yurts. We are Virginia State Parks.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
The owner of this Charles City County farm is a nationally recognized corn producer. As Norm Hyde tells us, in addition to breaking corn production records year after year, he's also a reality TV star.
David Hula is a corn warrior. He not only grows some of the best quality field corn in the United States, he holds the world record of 542 bushels per acre yield. That's more corn per acre than is produced by the fertile soils of the American Midwest. His secret is simple: learn from your mistakes and don't be afraid to try something new. Hula is currently in the middle of filming Season 2 of Corn Warriors, a reality TV show that airs on the RFD network.
Well, there was the concept of let's have a corn show, be a little bit informative, and then have a little bit of drama. You know, when you get into these reality shows, they want drama. I don't know a farmer around that wants drama. We want things to go smooth. So we were introduced to this concept, and you know, I was hesitant at first, but then when they talked about education, I'm like, sure, you know, and because of their success, they thought we could draw a portion of the audience. And then when they started pulling some of the other growers from some of the Midwest, and then they had a guy in Colorado, and now they have a fella in Georgia. So we got a wide, diverse group of growers. And then it's kind of had this little competition, who could have the highest yield. Well, fortunately, in Season 1, you know, we had the best yield. You can see we look like we had pretty good grain fill. You know, this particular hybrid was planted in the first part of May, because we had a wet spring, so we kind of got delayed planting, so we came back. But we got good pollination on the, you know, we can see that on the length of the ear. We got decent girth around. This is probably about 16 rows around. And if you notice, we had pretty good grain fill, because you don't see a whole lot of dent going on here. And then as we can see that, we cracked the corn, we kind of got some deep kernels. So we're expecting some pretty good things out of this particular hybrid this year, despite some of the weather challenges we had.
Hula says his favorite hobby is playing in the dirt, and he loves learning how to improve his crops and yields in the field. Hula says a combine that costs upwards of $500,000 can actually be a bargain because of all the work it can do.
And now we're running a John Deere S770. One of the neat things is it's got auto steer, read the yields on the go. So technology is just awesome. So we used to have to take the grain head off or the corn head off when we went from farm to farm. Now, with the convenience of this, we're able to fold it up and unfold it and never take it off till the end of the season.
What's it like to record a reality TV show while trying to put in a full 100% day's work in the field? Hula says it takes patience, and don't always expect to get everything done on your list. He often balances working in the field with accommodating the film crews, trying to get things done.
When the film crew comes out, you know, they say, we're not going to get in your way. Well, if you have so many things you want to get done, you cut that down into 25%. That's about all you'll get accomplished. Because you have GoPros mounted in the cab. You got GoPros mounted on the planter, or the sprayer boom, on the harvester. And then you have somebody riding in the cab, and you know, you're mic'd up. And then somebody following you all the way around. And you know, as a grower, when we have to stop and get out of a cab, it's usually because we either have to fill up, we got a problem, or we're going to do something else. So when you got somebody else in the cab, you got to let them get out first. So it just kind of slows the whole process up.
Working with a film crew may slow Hula down, but not much, and he knows that one result of being on television is that viewers can at least get a small feel for what it takes to raise a record corn crop. And maybe one day Hula will get his own star in Hollywood. In Charles City County, I'm Norm Hyde.
That's going to do it for this edition of Real Virginia. We are so glad you could join us to celebrate the bounty Virginia has to offer. Whether it's in your home, your garden, or your landscape, we're proud to say that this is Real Virginia. So for everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching. Make it a good week.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart, oh.